Hello, Think Takers. Well, today is a really awesome day because we have a guest speaker who is really wonderful. He's been with us before, and his pearls of wisdom always take you to a whole different level of understanding. And I would like to welcome Raymon Grace.
Very much.
Welcome, Raymon. Raymon, I'm so excited because you literally have taken the dowsing world to a whole different level. His information, everything's in 142 countries. It is just amazing how the dowsing has taken people to open up and do something about what's going on in their life. So I have a question for you. Well, I have several, but one in particular is about imagination. On a scale from 1 to 10, how important is imagination?
12.
A 12.
Well, yeah, because Einstein said imagination is more important than education.
Yes.
I think the old boy was right. And I'll tell you why. Because everything that's ever been invented, the inventor had to have imagination. He couldn't go to a reference book.
Yes.
Well, most of my work has been the same way. Because I'll give you a quick example. About 10 years ago, my buddy and I were traveling across Canada, and we were asked to spend the night at a place and have dinner. And then when we got there, we found out why. They wanted me to clean up the arsenic in the well. It had a tremendous amount of arsenic. With the best filtering systems that could be had, the water contained 46 parts of arsenic per million. 10 parts per million is the accepted safe level. This was tested by the Canadian government. Well, I didn't know anything about arsenic, but I had imagination. I thought maybe I could scramble the frequency, and I use that term because everything has a frequency. So maybe I could scramble a frequency of arsenic and turn it into water. 2 months later, the water is tested. There's barely a trace of arsenic in it.
Wow, that's awesome.
Well, see, you had to have imagination. I couldn't go to a reference book. I couldn't ask anybody. I've been told by scientific people it can't be done. Well, it's bad manners for those who say it can't be done is to interrupt those of us that's doing it.
Exactly. Well, I wanted to ask you about continuing with imagination. I noticed that in a lot of your classes, when you're doing the exercise, you're using your hands a lot. Why is that? Hands
are exclamation points for your thoughts. And probably they help the left brain, which is the logical side of the brain, to believe you're doing something. Like, for one example, I was talking to someone on the phone, and I literally went symbolically now into her body and pulled out pain, and it disappeared. Freaked her out, but it worked. Now, does it work all the time? No, but it works a lot of times.
Okay, and I'm sure you get this a lot, where people want you to do it instead of them to do it.
Oh yeah.
That's why I was most impressed about you writing your book about the future. Do something about it.
Most people do not realize that they can do anything about the future. They think they're just victims of the elements and the politicians. Yeah. Well, that's not true.
Yeah.
The human mind has a tremendous potential. I doubt if we've even scratched the surface of it. So I think I need to write a book to tell people that they can do something.
Thank you for that. That was an awesome book. I read it. I liked it. I wanted to ask you, there's a story that you have told before about bears and hunters. Would you tell us that story?
Yeah. This goes back a few years, so I got kind of a faded memory, but I think I can recall it. It happened over in North Carolina. A fellow contacted me. I don't recall his name at the time, but someone I had met. And different people have certain animals that they are very fond of. Well, this fellow was fond of bears, and he really didn't like it because people chased him with dogs, chased him up a tree and shot him. Well, I kind of sympathized with him. I've been a hunter in my life. I don't hunt anymore, but I have. And I didn't have anything against the bear hunters. I just wanted to see if this would work, because I do a lot of experiments. The worst you're ever going to do is break even.
Yeah.
So I got to thinking, what can I do? And one of my old friends had said, you can take the energy of a past event and bring it forward into the present, or send it to affect a future event. I think, okay, let's find out. So I took the confusion that existed in the 1906 California earthquake.
Wow.
and brought it forward in time and put it in the camp of the bear hunters. What he said was they stood up all night, they fought among themselves, and they drove the truck into the lake twice.
Oh, wow.
So I think, well, maybe it worked.
It definitely worked.
Yeah.
Is there a technique that you use, Dave?
I do affirmations every morning, every night. I have certain set ones, and certain ones are dependent upon what I want to accomplish. But one that I use every day is I repel all people and energies that are harmful to me. I do not believe we have to put up with a lot of people just causing trouble. So I get rid of them. Is that so?
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about this gentleman that took one of your classes. He's a friend of yours, Jeff, who just basically is living on water. He stopped eating.
Yeah, he is somewhat of a curiosity. I'll take him with me a number of places kind of for show and tell when he has time to go with me. But back in '97, Jeff was in my class for the first time. We had never met. And at the time, I had learned how to take one small little cup of water and what I call energize it, put energy into the water. Could I have your bottle of water, or well, drink, whatever it is right here? See, I would just take it like this, and I would hold it in a manner something like this, and put energy into the water. Well, that's what I was teaching the class. So Jeff was sitting back there, and he said, "You're putting energy in water?" I said, "Yeah, I think so." He said, "Well, if you're putting energy in it, I can put vitamins and minerals in it."
Oh, wow.
And I said, "Well, yeah, you probably can. Give it a try." That was in '97. This is 2013. What's it been? 16 years that Jeff has not had a meal.
Yeah, I saw his picture. He didn't look like a skinny,
He's not a
skinny
slim
guy.
person at all. Now, what he's done, we were invited to speak to a group of doctors and scientists up in New York one time. So I took Jeff with me, and we were sitting there at the table. I was eating. The food wasn't wasted. I ate his part of it. But some of the doctors said, "Would you gentlemen like a glass of wine?" I said, "Well, far water don't agree with me, but thank you for asking." And Jeff said, "Oh, I'd like to have a glass of wine. I'll just take the alcohol out."
Oh, wow.
Well, they laughed at him. And I think this is going to be fun. I waited about 5 minutes. I said, "If you gentlemen don't mind, would you take a sip of your wine and let us know how it tastes?" And they took a sip, and they had this deer in the headlights stare. There's no alcohol in it.
He flattened the wine.
I said, "I rest my case." He took the alcohol out of all the wine on the table.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that leads you with what else could you do? That's what I love about these classes you're giving. It's like, what else could you do?
It's probably unlimited as to what we can do. We just got to be smart enough to think of it.
Well, now that you mentioned thought, how important is thought?
The way I say it is, thoughts are the first step of creativity, because our thoughts determine our decisions determine our actions, and our actions determine our future.
Well said.
Now I want to say something else about Jeff. He described himself as the most allergic person on the planet. He couldn't even wear blue jeans. He was allergic to the dye.
Wow.
He had on 4 different kinds of allergy medication. He had to take shots once a month. He threw all the medication away.
That's beautiful.
He's not allergic to anything now.
That is really beautiful. Raymon, you are an awesome human being. Thank you so much for everything that you do and for gifting the world with your knowledge.
Oh, I thank for the opportunity to share it with you. It's been fun.
And by the way, Raymon Grace's site is RaymonGrace.us. If you're on Facebook, check out the Raymon Grace Appreciation page. It's run by Ken. It's really awesome, where everybody shares. We'll see you next time. Thank you for being with us.